Dear Dr. Ganu, thank you very much for coming to the starting point.
Thank you so much.
Yes, for me it's the starting point because it's the first time I come to Africa.
Oh,
Yes. And,
welcome.
thank you very much.
And
Thank
you are in Kenya.
Yes.
In Kenya, here we say karibu.
Yes, I that was told me already, so I have to learn it.
Thank you.
Yes. But Kenya is not your original country. You come from another big, great African country, which is Ghana.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about your beginnings, about your family and surroundings.
Well, like you said, we are from Ghana, and we are 7 in the family, 5 brothers and sisters, and my father, my mother.
Yes.
We were 7.
Yes.
And we stayed in the village. I don't know if you know about the cocoa farm. You know, there is a cash crop where we used to make chocolate, cocoa.
Oh, sure, of course. Everyone knows about that.
Yes, that is what we were cultivating.
Yeah, it was quite a consuming, work consuming.
Yeah. And we were subsistence farmers, no machine. We use our might to do our work, and we love it in the village there.
Yes.
We were very much together as family.
You have plenty of food. And
plenty of food. Yeah. We have, some of the food you may not know. We have food like plantain, cassava, corn. I mean, food was not a problem because we cultivate it ourselves.
You had enough rain to...
Yeah. In those, now the rain pattern is changing. But in those days, you can rely on the rainfall.
Wonderful.
And so rain comes. We have abundance of rains to grow our foodstuffs.
So the soil was fertile?
Yeah, the soil was fertile. Not these days anymore.
Yeah,
because
it has been depleted
exactly.
By
it has been overused.
Yes.
Yeah. And so we were there, and but when I was when I got to class 6,
you had the school in the village?
In the village,
But you were working so much on the farm.
Yes.
Were you able to go to school regularly?
Well, we were able to go to school, but with barefoot.
Yeah.
And it's a bit long from the village to the school, and we had to run every day. We ran every day.
So you could become a marathon runner.
Exactly. Yeah, but unfortunately, I was not a runner. But we run to school and back, and it's just about 3 kilometers back and forth.
But why run? You left late? Did you also run on returning from the school?
Yes,
because you're hungry.
We were hungry, and we were young boys and girls and very active,
yes.
and
competing each other.
Exactly. It was fun for us.
Did you like school per se?
Yeah, I personally like.
Boys are not very fond of school.
Yeah,
usually.
but unfortunately, I surprisingly I was very serious in school.
Really?
I always come first.
Really?
Of my colleagues,
Good.
But when I got to 6 years, I left the village. Somebody came to take me from the village to a nearby town.
Yeah.
That was where I went to school. And I was very serious about my schoolwork. And
so the family allowed you to...
They allowed me.
Because that meant less working arms.
Exactly. But also, my father did not go to school. But he wanted his children
to be
exactly.
Educated.
So they quickly allowed me.
He was a wise man.
Exactly. So I went to school, and from there I went to secondary school.
Yeah.
Which was very helpful. And I got my doctorate degree when I was 36 years.
So you work fast.
I worked very fast and very hard, but it was not a pleasant journey.
Yeah.
It was very difficult.
Yeah, probably the family didn't have the means.
No means to support me in school. And I remember very well when I finished when I was in the secondary school, I used to go and work for some family in order to get some money.
What kind of work?
And first of all, I used to weed, and I used, I don't know
if
in
the garden.
Exactly, in the garden. And this was not in the garden, it was in an open farm. And I worked with my strength and to earn some money and to go to school. But got so good, I was able to complete my secondary school.
Yeah.
And when it was time for me to go to university,
Yes.
oh man, I had no money. And we had a college in Ghana, a college belonging to the church, the Seventh-day Adventist Church in Ghana. So I went there to the school, but they refused to enroll me because I had no money. I had not paid even $1. I have not paid any money. So, but every morning I will take a bath and go and sit down at the cashier office. And you know what happened? One day, the treasurer came out and told me, hey, young man, I see you here every day for about 3 weeks now.
Really?
Yeah, what are you doing?
So you were so persistent.
I was persistent, and I told him, hey, I want to study. And he said, what do you want to study? I said, I want to study theology.
Yes.
And you know what he did? He went in and took his bag that he comes to work with and emptied his bag and gave me a note and said, take this bag and take this note to the Home Health Education Service. You know, the church has a place where, you know, people sell books. Go there and they will give you book. Go and sell book.
Yeah.
And then come and study.
It was something you have done before?
I have never done that before.
You knew that it was such a thing as...
I didn't know what even was corporate ministry was about.
Yeah.
But I really wanted to study so much and I was willing to do anything.
And did it work for you?
Hey, I went there and the manager gave me the books. For the whole day that day, I didn't know how to knock at a door and go to an office, and I didn't know what I was going to say.
Yeah.
So I was roaming in the street of Accra.
It was in the capital.
In the capital.
Yeah.
And that day, I never knocked at a single door. I came back to the school.
So it was a disaster.
A disaster. I came back to school very dejected, very unhappy, and I was thinking, because I didn't have the courage.
Yeah.
The following day, I said, I'll try again. And I went.
Did you tell anyone?
Yeah, I went back to the man, but the man really encouraged me.
Oh.
You know, that man is retired now. And anytime I go to Ghana, I buy something. No, he's a very wonderful person, a Christian.
Yeah.
You know, he really helped me. So the following day, I went back, and there was a tall building called the Diamond House. Mm-hmm. And I went there.
For businesses, or it was residential?
No, it's for business.
Businesses.
Yeah, it's a diamond house where so many organic companies were. And I stood there when the lift came.
Yes.
And it was as if somebody pushed me into the lift. I found myself in the lift, and everybody was out, and I was looking, waiting for and that was my first time to take a lift.
Really?
So I just pressed a number. And the lift took me to the last floor. And as soon as I came out, there was a lady, and he said, hey, gentlemen, what are you doing here? And I said, well, I'm from the Home Health Education Service, and I want to see the general manager.
Wow.
He said, the general manager? I said, yes. He said, what is your name? And I said, my name is Daniel. So she took a phone and said, well, there is a gentleman by name Daniel from the Home Health Education Service who would like to see you. The man said, let him in. What I'm telling you now, amen. So he said, go in, go there, you see that door, knock and enter. I knock at the door, and the man, I heard a voice said, come in. And I entered. There was a big room with air conditioning and a sofa set, you know. And then the man was sitting. You could see that this was not an ordinary man, a very big person. And so he was writing, and he just said, sit down, I will be with you. And I went and sat down with a conditioned room, and he finished what he was writing, and he came back. And he said, yes, gentlemen, what can I do for you? And I said, well, I am selling books to support my studies. When he heard to support my studies, he said, that is good. What books do you have? I brought all my books out. There was a book named Health and Longevity. That was the most expensive book I had.
Yeah.
So he took it, and then he went back to his desk, and he wrote a check. He gave me more money, 10 times more than the price of the book.
Fantastic.
That was the beginning of my education journey. Hey, When I was going to the bank to take the money, I wasn't sure. I said, no, this could not be true. I went and they counted the money, everything. When I went back to the school, the man said, you remember the man who gave me the bag?
Yeah.
He said, where did you get the money? And I told him the story.
Yes.
He said, Daniel, God has something for you.
Yes.
So could you believe, from my undergraduate to my master's to my PhD, I sold books to sponsor my studies. Nobody gave me a dollar.
Yes.
It's all about selling books for my studies.
So besides supporting you for expensive studies, because as you advance in the level of studies, so they become more and more expensive. But besides helping you to finance your education, what it meant for you as a person and as a believer?
I was, by then I was a Christian, Seventh-day Adventist.
Sure, we'll return to that.
Very good. And the selling of the book is not just to make money.
Sure.
I was also meeting people and sharing my faith with them, letting them know that God is there. He is real. And I use my own story. And I have a lot of stories I can share. I use my own story. And then more so the books I was selling, some of the books were religious books, and that gives hope to people. It tells about who Christ was and who he is and what he came to do for us. So I was so happy selling those books because I knew I was using that money for my studies, but I was also sharing the good news.
And improving the lives of the people.
And improving the lives of, exactly.
Yeah. And so you began, your first book you sold in probably one of the most imposing buildings in Accra, Diamond Building.
Diamond House, yeah.
Yeah. What other environments have you been selling books in?
Yes.
Have you been also in villages, like your own village, to sell books?
No, not in my own village. Nobody has money. But I gave out books to those who can read.
Yes.
But after selling books in Accra for about 1 year, God opened the way for me. And I went to Sweden.
So in Northern European countries.
Exactly.
That was an arrangement.
An arrangement with the
many African students would go.
We go, exactly.
And also from Newbold and from other colleges.
Exactly, you are right. We met many students from Europe, from Newbold College, and from many African countries.
So how it was for you to go to countries so different culture,
I tell you.
Languages you didn't know anything about.
My first day I couldn't speak the language, the Swedish language, but now I can speak a little.
Yeah.
But the people there were so loving, so nice people. You knock at anybody's door, they will open the door for you.
Very interesting.
And I made so many good friends, And so initially it was challenging because the Swedish people themselves, not all of them speak English.
Yeah.
And I will just imagine I will knock at your door, they will see a black guy and then who could not speak Swedish language and was speaking in English. And people said, what are you doing here? But when, for the Swedish, and I also went to Norway to sell books. And those two countries, once they know that you are a student and you are selling books to help your studies, even if they don't need the book, they are ready to buy just to help.
Interesting.
Oh man, for those countries, I will never forget those countries.
Yeah.
Nice people.
And I also think meeting new people, trying to convey your message, not only to sell books, but also to convey hope and change and improvement. And, I think also refined yourself as a person, your behavior, your approaches, made you tactful and loving and respectful and gave you a new understanding of human nature. Yeah.
You are perfectly right.
Yeah.
I mean, you cannot go to such experience and remain the same.
Yes.
No. I mean, it really gave me a different perspective in the world, that you need to be tactful. You need to be respectful. Let me share one experience with you.
please.
I went to a small village, you know, in Sweden, a small town, and I had worked so hard that day, and not many books were bought, and I was very tired, very hungry, and very angry as well because people were not buying. And so I went to one house, and I kind of misbehaved. The person said, "No, I don't want to buy books today," and my attitude towards that person wasn't right. And so I said, "Well, if you will not buy the book, it's okay. Give me my book, let me go." Because of the frustration.
Yeah.
Hey, do you know what happened? That man took a phone and called everybody in the village
Really?
that there is a rude African boy,
Rude
don't buy book for him. And so every house I went,
And you didn't know why?
I didn't know.
Oh my.
But then I went to one house and somebody invited me in and said, "Hey, look, here we are together. You went to this house and you did not behave well." And he called everybody in this. He told me. And so I said, "Really?" He said, "Yes." And so I really apologized and we became friends. And he took phone again and called everybody in the village and said, "The guy is a good guy. He was frustrated. He was hungry. He was tired." And so he told me to go back.
Really?
And I went back, and every door I knocked, they bought a book. So that is how it is for you to
Very
be.
educational,
Exactly.
formative.
Exactly. It was a lesson I will never forget. I will never forget.
That was in the 90s?
It was in 1994
Yeah.
in Sweden. Yeah. It was a little village called Strömsund. I remember very well.
You should give me the name.
Yeah, sure. Sure, I'll give
Yeah.
you.
So you went to college in Ghana. What was next as far as studies are
Yeah,
concerned?
when I went to college in Ghana, I studied science, but I was a science student. But when I got to the 4th year, I had no money to buy books. No, in science, you need to have the books. And so I had to change, to business. And because I love science. I love science. So I changed to business. But I finished and got a good grade. That was when I came to this school that I was talking to you about. I was going to study theology, but then no money. But fortunately, I got into the book selling business, and that paved the way for me. And I finished my 2 years in Ghana, and I went to Nigeria, finished my bachelor degree, and then went to the Philippines, and then finished my master's and my doctorate degree, and then I came back to Ghana, and then here in Kenya.
Yeah, well, I happen to know a little bit about your journey because I interviewed already your wife,
Exactly.
Josephine.
Yeah.
So how it was for you to go to so different places, different countries here in Africa? Well, for outsiders, Africa may seem like, one color, but of course it's not like that. It's a very, very diverse culture, many different languages, habits, ways of thinking. But not only that, you went to Europe several times. For how many years?
Oh, as for Europe, I have traveled to Europe many times. For Sweden, I went there about 4 times to sell books. And for Norway, I went about 6 or 7 times to sell books.
Many times.
Yeah, many times. And
when you would go, you would stay for like 3
months.
3 months.
Yes.
3 months.
Then I'll have to come back to school.
Sure.
Because of that, my studies lengthen a little. Because sometimes I have to miss school. Go and make money before I come back to school.
And how did you choose the Philippines to continue your studies?
I was going to U.S., Loma Linda University. Yeah, but it was too expensive. The book selling could not, I cannot afford paying my fees only from, and I had nobody. And Philippines was a bit cheaper for me. And the money I can make in Europe for 3 months can cater for my stay and my studies for 1 year.
Wonderful.
And then the following year. So I had
Wonderful.
to plan very carefully.
Yes,
That was
yes.
why I went to the Philippines.
I see.
Yeah. And in Africa here, in the church, in the Seventh-day Adventist church, and I wanted to study in the church.
Yes.
And you know, we have many institutions, universities. And there was no university here that offers a health program.
How did you become so interested in this area of health?
Yes, that's a good question, and that's a very good question. Where I was in the village and in Ghana, people were so ignorant about healthy lifestyle.
So the traditional lifestyles are not very good for health?
No, not good at all.
Not good
There
at
were
all.
so many things we were doing ignorantly. People do not even know, and they were getting sick.
Like?
For example, where I was in the village, we had a lot of vegetables, a lot of fruit, but people were not eating them.
No.
They didn't know the benefits.
They said that they are for the animals.
Animals. For them, and they will make a food if they can use only one ingredient to make a soup, and that was all. That was okay. Once they get meat, that was also fruit and green leafy vegetables and other vegetables were there, but they didn't know the benefits, so they were not using. So people were not really getting the benefit of those things. And then secondly, things like HIV/AIDS, for example, people were not educated. They don't know how it was being transmitted, and out of ignorance. If people had known, and people were dying at young age, mothers don't know how to take care of their children. Under 5, children, mortality of children were very common because of the condition and then the poor lifestyle of the people.
What a tragedy.
And so I decided to study either medicine or public health. And for medicine, it was too expensive for me. And so public health was a bit affordable, and I worked hard myself to sponsor myself in school, and I was able to get a doctorate degree in public health. And when I came back to Ghana, I was on television, I was on radio, and educating people.
So you became a public educator.
Exactly,
Yes.
exactly.
Wonderful.
Until I came here.
I also think the books you were selling, many of them I think were on health.
On health,
related,
a lot of books on
so
health.
that also helped you
Exactly.
become a promoter.
Of
to
health.
promote books, you had to promote the topics of the books.
You are right. You are right. Yeah.
So without knowing, the man, the treasurer who sent you to sell books, gave a life direction for you in many ways.
Exactly.
Very interesting.
I was going to that school, going to study theology, but I know where I am right now. Oh man, health is my passion. It's my passion how to help people to live a healthy life and to glorify God in what they put into their body and what they use their body for. It's one thing, because the Bible says in 1 Corinthians 10:31 that whether we eat or drink we should, or whatever we do, we should do it to the glory of God. And that has been my key test. And even 1 Corinthians 6:19 and 20 says we are the temple of the Holy Spirit.
This is a basic understanding.
Exactly.
And I think this is not common to other religions. This is the religion of the Bible, teaching us that we are temples of God. Such a lofty understanding of the value of human beings.
And when you live that kind of life, you live to glorify God, the benefit comes back to you yourself. You live a quality life, a happy life, kind of void of pain. And but I also think that the motivation for us to live that kind of life, and I can share 3 good motivations that can motivate us. It's not so much about our physical health.
Yes.
Number 1, it's about responsible love. The Bible teaches about responsible love. Because of my children, because of my wife, because of my church, because of my friends, I should be careful how I lead my life. Because due to selfish indulgences, I become sick and I cannot help my child, I cannot help my church, my student, my family.
Yes.
God says I have sinned. See, I have a daughter who is, now she's 11 years old. If she wants to play with me, she will come and just hit me. Say, Papa, you cannot catch me. And then she will run. And I'll run after her and run. And I will also touch her. And I said, you cannot touch me. And I will run. And she will run after me. You know, we will play and laugh. And imagine if due to my selfish indulgences, I become sick and my daughter wants to play with me and I cannot play with her. So that's number one, responsible love.
Yeah, wonderful.
Number two, the Bible says we follow these healthy lifestyles as a sign of our spiritual loyalty to Him.
Yes.
It's not so much about our beauty or the pain we will avoid, but when we do those things, when we keep those biblical principles of health, we are becoming spiritually loyal to God. That is why God presented all those health laws in the Bible as a religious law. So when we follow them, we will get the benefit for our spiritual health, but far more than that, we are being loyal to God. And then number three, the third one is we should be grateful to God by observing those natural health of laws because God has made them available in the Bible. Imagine if God has not put those things there. I can just eat them and die and get sick. But if I want to be appreciative to God, one way I can be appreciative to God is to obey those things. Then I'm telling God, God, thank you for making these things available, for letting me know. And one way I want to be appreciative to you is to obey them.
I like very much your perspective, and I agree 100%. You know, many times health issues are presented in a very selfish way, self-centered.
And it's not motivating enough.
And just to become more selfish than other people, you become the center.
Exactly. Which is
you don't care about others.
No, it's not the best.
You become proud then. Oh, you see, I don't eat that, I don't do that. And so I feel superior and I become judgmental. And this is not the right motivation.
No, it's not the right motivation. But if I think of you, if I think of him, if I think of my student, if I think of my church members, my wife, my children, then I should be careful of my choices.
Being healthy is a side product.
Exactly.
It's not the main thing.
No.
Because sometimes we choose healthy lifestyles, but they don't guarantee that we'll be healthy.
No,
they don't guarantee.
You got it right.
Yeah.
You see, you look at the wonderful work you are doing here now, and you do this for many people, and many people are hearing this message.
Yes.
Imagine if you have been selfish in your choices and you think, I am doing this for my own health, but you are thinking about other people who should hear this message. So you be careful of your choices so you can live a healthy life, a quality life for people to benefit from what you are doing.
I will return for sure to that, but I like to make a big step back in your childhood or your youth years. Because I didn't ask you anything about the religious life of the family. And I'd like you to share with us about that as well.
Thank you. My family, we were basically not going to church. We only go to Roman Catholic Church when it is Christmas.
That was the most important religion?
Yeah, that was the dominant religion in the area. In the town where we go to school, that was where the Roman Catholic Church was.
So the church and the school were together
exactly.
somehow. Yeah.
So we don't go to church. But then in my secondary school days in the village, somebody came. A Seventh-day Adventist man came with the Bible. and he presented that the day of worship is Saturday.
He came to your
He
family?
came to the village, yeah,
In the
our
village, to your place?
to our place,
To your family?
exactly. And I was there, my brother was there, my parents were there, but we were somehow educated people in the family. I was in the secondary school then,
Yes.
because my father and my mother had not gone to school at all. And so when he came, we had never heard anything like that in our life.
Of course.
You know, we go to this Roman Catholic Church somehow, but we have never heard about these teachings. So we became interested. And so we read the Bible ourselves, we went through the Bible, and we realized that the Bible actually emphasized on the seventh day as the day of worship. And so we became interested. So myself and my elder brother and my younger brother, we went to an Adventist church, which was close by.
Not in your village?
Not in the village. We had to walk for about 2 miles to go to that church. And when we went there, we saw these people gathered, worshiping. And
it was in the city, or it was a village?
Also in another village.
Another village?
Another village, yeah. But
probably not very large?
Not very large. About, the church members were about, they were not up to 20.
Oh,
very small.
Very
church,
small,
yeah.
like a family.
Yeah, it's a family church. So we went there, and the people know us. In around that vicinity, people know, we know each other.
Yes.
So when they saw us coming, and they know that I was going to secondary school, I had come home.
Not many young people would go to
No. People are just in the village, in the farm. They spend their time. But like I told you, I went to secondary school and then came back during holiday. So when they saw me, and they respect me because I was a secondary school boy and a bit respected. And, and so they told me to come and teach. That was my first day in church.
They knew it was your first day? They knew it?
They knew. They had never seen me in that church. And they gave me the book, and I just read the book to them, and we discussed. We discussed. And, because of the responsibility they gave us in the church, it really attracted us and pulled us to the church. And we were yearning to go to church every Saturday. And within 3 weeks, we were baptized.
Oh, really?
Yeah, within 3 weeks.
That was usual?
It was very unusual.
Very unusual.
Very unusual. In our days, that was 1985. For you to be baptized, you have to go to baptismal class. And
so a couple of months.
A couple of months, and be taught so many
things. To change your life.
Exactly. But we said
they broke every rule.
Every rule, but and
maybe they saw something in you.
They saw something. They really saw something.
They were inspired by the Spirit to put you there.
In fact, and we were so zealous.
And you remained faithful, committed all the time.
Until now.
Forever.
Forever. And I know, for me, God has done a lot for me.
What about the rest of the family?
So because we got baptized within 3 weeks, we were 5 children. The remaining 2 were not, they were staying in another village. Also, that's our first brother. He got another land and was farming in another village. But then, within 3 months, my father followed us to the church. Because we were also having Bible study with them. And then about a month later, my mother also followed us. Then we went to my brother, but my sister was had married and was staying with her family. So we went to our elder brother, and he accepted. But to God, to the glory of God, today as I speak now, all of us are in the church. We belong to church. We go to church, and we take the church very seriously.
When you made this great important change, what was the reaction of the people in the village?
That's a good question.
It was an enmity developing,
no, but really. They were surprised because
for sure.
The Seventh-day Adventist Church was not popular. The most popular religion was Roman Catholic Church and Presbyterian, Methodist, and Adventist Church was not even in that town, but it was just in the village, small village somewhere. So they were asking maybe I was crazy. Well, there is a big church, we'll not go to that church. But we saw something.
Yeah.
It was not going to church as usual anymore. When we went to this village church, it was a Bible study all the time. And the preaching was from the Bible and the Bible study. First of all, we will study what we call the Sabbath school.
Yes.
And then after that, there is a preaching. And then from Monday to Friday, there is an activity.
Really?
Sunday was a Bible study. Monday was the youth, Tuesday was choir practice. Wednesday, every week. And we saw that this was a serious church. And so we didn't care what other friends and the people but nobody hated us for taking that decision. But because of us, many people joined the church because we were so respected in the village.
Do you think there is an Adventist church in your village now?
Yes, there is an Adventist church
now. Have you visited?
Yeah. And anytime, even in the town where we used to go to school, there is an Adventist church now.
Wonderful.
And I'm even helping to build a church, put up a church building. They don't have a church building. They are worshiping under a hut.
Yeah.
So I'm helping them each time
Wonderful.
I go. I help them put up.
By now, the Adventist Church, I think, is one of the important churches in the country of Ghana.
Yes.
Maybe 500,000 of it.
Yeah, more than that.
More
and we have 2 unions, two
organizations.
Exactly.
National organizations.
It's a big church with a membership of more than, it's getting to about 800,000. Wow. It's a big church now. Big, church in Ghana. Well respected.
Well respected. Why? Why do you think it's well respected?
Number one, we have a unique lifestyle, the Adventist health lifestyle, and so the Adventists, you don't see them dying at a younger age. They live a quality life, and then the Adventists also, people know us as a Bible church.
Yes.
Bible church. And so they respect the church so much. And what actually made the church so respected is a school, a university we had in Ghana. I was the academic dean in that university before I came here, Valley View University.
Your wife spoke about the humble beginnings.
Yes, it was
when she went for the first time there. She was shocked.
She told you about it. Sure. Yeah, that was interesting. That was the school I also went where the man gave me the bag to go and sell books. That was the school. Now it's a big university.
University.
Before
about 10,000 students.
Yeah.
Huge.
Before I left, when we were having graduation, you will see companies, banks, they are there.
Coming to watch and
to recruit the students who are graduating, because in that school we don't only concentrate on the academic development. We teach what we call holistic development of the student.
Lifestyle, character.
Exactly. Character,
practical
skills, and then even socially, we encourage the students. So parents love bringing. You see, when I went to the school initially, parents who have their children who were having problem with the drugs, they will send their children to that school because they said, that is the school where my child can change.
And
many students. And now, anytime I go to US, I go to Europe, many people, hey, Dr. Ganu. I said, do I know you? He said, yeah. And we pray for them and say, I am in this work now. And these were some of the drug addicts.
Really?
Some of these are
really saved, redeemed lives.
Redeemed. And that is our philosophy. Adventist education is to instill the lost character of God in man again.
Yes.
It is to redeem people from sin. And I'm so happy that I went through Adventist system of education, and I am part of Adventist education today. So because of that, the church in Ghana, and our school was the first private university to become accredited and chartered in Ghana. The first private university.
Wonderful.
Yeah. And so people got to know about Adventism through the school and through our lifestyle and through the kind of lifestyle we live.
I suppose with such a strong educational program and good education and a lot of members, I suppose also some of our church members become important people in society, in
Yes.
businesses,
Yes.
in education, possibly
In
government.
Yeah.
Have anything to say about people serving in the government?
Yes.
Yeah, please.
We have people who are members of parliament,
Yeah.
and we have had one person who was a minister in the government.
Yeah.
Before.
Was he a
Yeah,
good,
an example,
respected,
exactly, well respected.
very well respected?
Because when they say you are an Adventist, they
Yes.
know you have a different lifestyle. So people expect a lot from you. So people know that if you come to government, for you, you will not be corrupt.
Really?
For you, you will not be, So he led the ministry in a very respectable
Wonderful.
way.
What area? I mean, what was his ministry?
No, that was ministry. What was?
Oh, it's all right.
Yeah, I forgot the ministry,
Is
but
it?
I know his name very well. But there was one. There are about 2 or 3 now who are members of parliament.
Yes.
Yeah, in the parliament, and people respect them a lot.
Yeah, this is very good. You continued to help your country doing research in the area of public health.
Yes.
And developing methods to educate the public, because when we speak about lifestyles, it's not enough to give information.
No.
This is good, this is bad.
Exactly.
And this is not helpful because there are many things we know they are good, but we don't follow them.
Exactly.
Yeah, what are the methods you have developed and you try and you are successful in educating people and helping them to do practice and to do sustainable changes? Because sometimes we make short-lived changes, but then we fall back in our ways, old ways. So share with us a little bit of what you are doing and the impact.
One way, and that is lacking in Africa here, but in Europe, in US, they have gone very far. One way to also convince people that this lifestyle works, that is not just a story we are telling, is to do research, and empirical research, scientific research, to show. And I did a research in Ghana on the youth of Adventist Church in Ghana, how their lifestyle regarding drug abuse. And I realized that more than 80% of the youth in Ghana, in the youth in the Adventist Church, have never tasted any drug, including alcohol and smoking. Yeah, more than 80%.
Wow.
And I also realized that about 97% know about the teaching of the health teaching of the church.
Yes.
They know, they have the knowledge. But like you said, about 97% of them know they have the knowledge.
Yes.
But when it comes to practice, do they all practice? It is difficult, no. And so we are saying that knowledge, and mere knowledge, does not translate into practice. No, it's not like that. So some of the things we have done in Ghana, for example, is that to introduce vegetarian food in the school. And then for me, when I was there, these are students, I teach them, and some of them come into the school from non-Adventist background, where they eat a lot of meat, fish, and those things. And for them to just tell them eat vegetarian food is too much.
Repulsive.
For them. Yeah. So
they will rebel.
They will rebel. So what I do is, I ask them to, one, try and taste. It's not palatable anyway. To taste and see, and I always organize a seminar for them. And then I told them, those of you who cannot stop abruptly, well, when you go home, you eat a little bit of meat, but my advice is for them to be cutting down
little by little.
slowly, little by little, little by little. You see, like you said, when we just stand up and tell people, do not eat meat, and these are people who have been eating meat from their infancy, to just tell them and just telling them how.
Sure.
It's not very, very workable. So even now, as I go around the continent of Africa, I tell them, and just give yourself 1 year. I tell them. So, and that is your goal. After 1 year, you should be off alcohol and those and these 1 year. And I also give them my telephone number, my email address. Those who need help, just call me. For example, those who are smoking, I tell them when the urge is coming, just call me. And I used to receive a lot of
Really?
phone calls.
Do you have time to
I tell you, it was not easy. But then I also tell them when the urge is coming, what they should do. They should take in some more water and eat more fruit and do this. They should avoid. And you may not have 100% success rate, but at least about 80 to 90 or 95% success. And people call me and thank me and write to me. If I had shown you my email address, I see a lot of people writing to thank me, Dr. Ganu, thank you so much. I am now cigarette-free, alcohol-free, and I'm now a lacto-ovo vegetarian, and so on and so forth. So I think people need more help. People need more than just giving information. People need to be encouraged. People need to be pushed. People need to be told that it's okay when you fail once, you can try again. So
don't give up.
Exactly, don't give up. And
keep trying.
Exactly, and that is the encouragement we need to give people.
And are you also able to work with health departments in the governments and the local governments and things like that? Are they willing to cooperate?
When I was in Ghana, I work with the radio stations, rather, because I used to be on radio and on TV, and most of these I used to tell them I don't have money to pay for airtime, and some of them are willing to do it for free.
Yes.
Yeah. There was only once that I talked with the health department, and because they see me on TV, they hear my voice on radio, and they reach out to me, and they told me they are happy about what I was doing, but I left Ghana. I left Ghana 2012, and the work was.
You don't have anyone to
no, there was nobody doing it now. And
maybe you will be able to grow a successor.
Maybe I need to do that, but I'm going to start here. I'm
good.
going to be on Hope Channel.
Really?
And I have talked with the manager here.
Yes, very good.
He was so excited. Good. So we are going to begin very soon.
Very good, very good.
And this Hope Channel covers the whole of African continent. So we will be able to do something.
Yeah. So the radio and television programs you've done in Ghana, did you hear from the viewers, from the listeners?
Yeah.
Is there a good response?
Yes, there is. When I left, people became very unhappy. They became very unhappy. People wrote to me and were even telling me, why don't I come and do recordings and leave it, and I come here. But it was also not very easy for me to do that because I need money to travel, to fly down there and come back. And when it is finished, it becomes difficult. Maybe what we can do is to do the recordings here.
Yes.
But then my host, who used to interview me, is in Ghana, and then also we used to have people call in and ask me so many questions.
Sure.
But there is a huge impact.
And there is an interest. People are willing and interested.
The interest is here. The people are willing to listen, to hear. And we make the message so simple. We come down, and then we are not judgmental, and then people love to hear. The program, we call it Lifeline.
Lifeline.
Lifeline, that is what we call it.
You mentioned that many of the practices of the people in villages were bad concerning health. But in many ways we learn that also traditional societies were also developing good practices. Have you been able to discover such, healthy practices, good habits, and to build upon them? Because you can't change the life of a person suddenly and all over.
Especially when it is tradition.
You have to build, to find something the person has, to be able to build on the good they already have. Is there something you'd like to share with us, some good things you have discovered in traditional societies?
That's a good one, a very, very good one there. One tradition in Ghana, it is being practiced by one tribe, very popular, is we call it ritual of initiation, where a young girl cannot have sex until that ritual is done. But the wrong way, the one thing wrong with that is how they do that ritual. But if you look at that tradition, it is helping the young ladies to come of age. And
to get ready.
Exactly.
To have as a decisive moment in their life.
Exactly.
Not something to meddle with at any time, in any place, in any way.
Because when the mothers, the traditional mothers get to know, and that even these girls will not even dare having sex. Because it's a shame. If they get to know, you can be expelled, you can be ostracized. It's a shame on the parent, on that family. So every young lady is excited to wait and get to that age for that initiation to be done. And for the traditional mothers, they know once you get to that age, then you are ready for sex.
For sex and for marriage, actually.
Yeah, for marriage, 18 years, and those when you are ready. And so it was one good tradition. But then some of the things that go into the ritual is what probably, for example, a young girl will be stripped and the breast will be there and will wear only these and will spend some, days in a deplorable place in the night, and some of those things are not very healthy.
Corruption of the good initial habits.
Exactly. Those we can change it.
Can change it. So I think it's very important to find the good is there and to build on that. Well, Dr. Ganu, thank you very much for sharing so interesting things from your own experience. I'm sure that your story will be a great encouragement for young people who have this yearning to grow, to study, to educate themselves, to live a better life, but they feel powerless, hopeless, because they don't have the means. They feel the society is not supporting them. But your personal story is very, very encouraging.
Thank you.
And your way of presenting a better lifestyle, respecting the situation of the people, and urging them to have the confidence that they can do gradual changes in the positive direction. Yes. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
May God continue to guide you. Thank you. God
so
bless.
Much.
Nioshe Bwana wangu, mimi nimechafuka, damu yako Yesu yatosha kunitakasa, kwani umeahidi dhambi zote kuliko theluji.
Bwana wewe umwenye huruma, najua hutanikataa. Uyajuaye maisha yangu, nitakase kwa damu yako. Damuni mwako nitakuwa safi. Bwana wewe umwenye huruma, najua hutanikataa. Uyajuaye maisha yangu, nitakase kwa damu yako. Damuni mwako nitakuwa safi.
Nilitafuta kote, sikupata upendo. Nilipokuwa dhambini, nikasikia sauti ya upole, sauti yake Yesu. Njoo mwanangu, njoo, bado ninakupenda.
Bwana wewe umwenye huruma, najua hutanikataa. Uyajuaye maisha yangu,